Hello and welcome to a brand spanking new CraftySimulations video and home of general aviation here on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And today we have got a true treat, an icon of the simulator. And no, it's not going to be the Twin Star. This is the Just Flight, I have to get my name right, Piper PA28-161 Warrior 2. This is the first part of 3 general aviation icons that Just Flight released some time ago now in the sim. Now these are absolutely fantastic aircraft. If you're into your general aviation and you haven't tried at least one of these aircraft, you know, you are missing something, because like I say, they are iconic aircraft here in the simulator. Now this is, of the 3 aircraft, the I would say, I don't want to say the least or the slowest or, you know, the more basic aircraft. You know, it's not, but it is. There's 2 other aircraft. There's the Arrow and the Turbo Arrow, which are a little bit more advanced. This would be on par with that Cessna 150 there. Fixed undercarriage, doesn't have a prop pitch lever, so it's throttle and mixture only. It is the basicest. I don't want to say basic, it's just, it doesn't sound right. It is, though, the least of the aircraft, unfortunately, would have to say. In no way, shape or form is that a bad thing. Just Flight, if you don't know who Just Flight are in the flight simulator world, they are an amazing company that have been around for many, many years across many, many simulators. And they release a lot of aircraft that is developed by other companies. They also do in-house development, and when Just Flight say they're going to develop whatever aircraft, and it's an in-house development, take note, because the work they do on these aircraft is absolutely amazing. They've covered everything from the basic general aviation aircraft that you see in front of you now, all the way to the Panavia Tornado, the Avro Vulcan, the Canberra. They do the Fokker 28, I want to say, airliner. They do a multitude of different classifications of aviation. They don't do any one particular type. Like I say, everything from military to airliners, classic airliners, all the way down to general aviation. And no matter what it is, if it's an in-house development by Just Flight, it is going to be a stonker. And this is absolutely the same. It's an amazing aircraft. All 3 of the general aviation pack that you can purchase are very well done. The videos I've seen of real Warrior 2s flying around in the UK, flying around in the US, the sounds are pretty much bang on. The cockpit is pretty much bang on. The way this looks from the externals is pretty much bang on to obviously what the real PA28 is. It's just, aesthetically, it is just the most beautiful looking piece of product. I mean, we get this now in Flight Simulator. When a company, especially a company with the class of Just Flight, says they're going to make, in this case, the Warrior 2, we expect, as customers and consumers, a very, very good, detailed looking and detailed sounding product, and that's what we get. This thing is absolutely no difference here. It's absolutely fantastic. I do believe they had this group of aircraft, the 3 general aviation aircraft, for Flight Simulator X when that was out, and they were great then. And they just basically, I don't know whether they stripped this down and created this as a ground up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 product, or whether they, you know, used borrowed bits and pieces from FSX's version. But if it has been borrowed and it's a quote-unquote port over, it's a fantastic port over. And to be honest with you, I don't think it is. I think it's just an Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 version of their general aviation series of aircraft that they released many, many years ago. There is, obviously, like I say, 2 other aircraft in the pack. I do believe there is going to be a 4th aircraft that's going to be released. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head. I saw a photo of it. I do believe it's in the development stage on their website. But I'm hoping, touch wood, that it's going to be out this year, because if it's anything like these aircraft, it's going to be fantastic. And like I say, even on the internals, this is what you get with Just Flight. They are just absolutely fantastic internally. They just look the part. I mean, you've even got the wear on the flight column here, which, you know, the PA-28 is an old aircraft. It's been around for many, many years, and you'd expect wear and tear on bits and pieces that are obviously in contact with the pilots and co-pilot. Now, something I do like is that they haven't copy and pasted this texture effect onto the other column here, so you have a different level of wear put onto that side of the aircraft. Bits and pieces like, you know, the cockpit, it's got wear and tear in places where it should have it. I'd probably expect a little bit more on the throttle and the mixture controls here, but, you know, I mean, it looks really, really good. Obviously, you've got a fabric covering an old style, not leather seat here, and, you know, again, it's absolutely fantastic. Even the bits that we don't really look at in the sim when you're flying the aircraft back here. I mean, I've never actually, you know, obviously sat in the back seats of a PA-28, but Just Flight have done an absolutely fantastic job in replicating the interior of this aircraft. It's a lovely, lovely place to be. Again, the wear and tear, especially down here where, you know, obviously you get a lot of foot movement. You've got the wear and tear across both sides, and on the matting, I suppose is one technical word there. It's absolutely awesome. Very well done. So yeah, we are going to take the PA-28 here for a little flight. We're based here at RAF Waddington on the general aviation side of the airfield. I do believe there's actually a PA-28 that does fly in and out of Waddington. Don't know whether it's based here, but it does turn up on the air traffic tracking software that I have. So we are, you know, it's not totally unrealistic to see a PA-28 here in RAF Waddington. Now, what I am going to have to do, and I've just realised this, I was flying earlier on, would you believe, the Twin Star, and I've actually remembered I've still got my controls, I do believe, yes, set up for DA Twin. So I'm going to have to set that to single engine prop. Obviously, that is a very important thing in Flight Simulator. I didn't really pay much attention that you could actually set up different profiles for different aircraft, but now that we do, I've got a Twin Star profile, and then I have a single engined profile, and I am going to work on various bits and pieces on my controls. So we shall check that everything is centered. If I can still remember how to start this thing. It's been a while since I have started this aircraft, but how hard can it be? Check the brakes are set. Open the fuel tanks up. Batteries coming on. If I remember correctly, we need obviously rotating lights, anti-collision lights, that'll do. Turn the mixtures on. Yell out the famous clip up. Secure that. Parking brake is set. Mixture is open. And hopefully we shall get a startup of this aircraft. It's been a while, like I said, since I've flown the Warrior. Definitely a loud aircraft. Turn the avionics on. Mixture will pull back. We've got it set at 1,000 revs, that's what we want. Obviously we're running GTN 750s in this aircraft. because I really do get along with GTN 750s. We'll set it up the way I usually set up a GTN 750, so we'll clear the messages, set one up for the map and one up for terrain warning. So whilst we are here, we shall check that everything works. One thing I do like about this, and this goes into the realism how Just Flight have created this aircraft, is the aircraft does not sit level. Well, you can see it just bouncing up and down on the suspension a little bit, the wings just tipping. It just creates a bit of realism in the aircraft. It's what they do in real. So, you know, well, kudos to Just Flight to actually creating that. So, just want to check something. Yeah, we'll have the set the fuel pump. We'll put the fuel pump up on when, obviously, fuel pump on. Try saying that fast. When we get out to the runway, we're not going to do a proper start up with this aircraft and do run-ups with mags and all that kind of stuff. We just want to get in the air. We just want to show the aircraft off. So, we don't have taxi lights. We have landing lights. They'll not come on, obviously, until we get out to the runway. Pitot will come on at the runway. Transponder, if I remember. Where the heck is the transponder? Oh, it's up here still. GTM, we'll set for, yeah, no, 7,000. And we'll have that as on. And then we will set that to altitude reporting when we get out to the runway. And you may just notice there, this LV, or VL is upside down, light has just come on. That's just to indicate that the aircraft's alternator is now not generating electricity due to the fact I've just knocked the throttle there and the revs went below a certain level. Again, it's the realism of this aircraft. So, parking brake's going off, let's roll. And as always, we'll do a little left and right on the rudder, check that works. Hit the brakes. Everything's honky-dory. Clear on the left side taxiway. Obviously we don't have any air traffic to worry about. And obviously we're not talking to air traffic. Just want to check that I'm actually recording. Yes, I am. I make a fatal mistake now. I'll set up Audacity to be recording and check my audio and then go straight into whatever it is I'm trying to fly, and then I'll just realise at the end of it that OBS is not actually recording. Very annoying, especially when you've had a 40-minute flight, but tis what tis. Parking brake set. Right, so we'll have fuel pump on, we'll have pitot heat on, landing lights are on, mixture is full, flaps are not required. So taking off here at runway, or on runway 2021, I can't remember. We'll be making a right-hand departure. If we have any engine issues we have along the runway before takeoff to abort the takeoff. If we're in the air, we can definitely make a 180 and head back here, and there is plenty of fields which I do not want to make a crash landing into, but obviously you never can tell. So doors are checked and secured. Last minute check of controls checked. transponder is now reporting altitude, and that's set. So let's roll out to the runway. I still cannot get over the sounds of this aircraft. It's absolutely amazing, and it does sound exactly like the real thing. Obviously, kudos to Just Flight for getting the sounds. I mean, they do concentrate a lot on the sounds of their products, and they've done a cracking job here. So, last minute checks. We're not doing flaps are going to be down, so we don't need those. Flaps are going to be up even, I should say. Coming off the parking brake, sitting on the main wheel brakes, rev up, let's go. Airspeed is live. And there we go, airborne in the P-828. It's quite a simple aircraft to get off the ground. Obviously we don't have to worry about things like folding undercarriage. Take our usual route out over Lincoln Cathedral. And head towards RAF Scampton. It's going to be a little flight today, just gives you a taster of the Warrior. Just setting up the autopilot. Fairly basic autopilot. We've got the altitude hold selected and we are flying heading mode. Very interesting is the fact that I can actually control the autopilot with a G1000 unit that I have sat in front of me, and I'm actually using a GTN 750 and other autopilot control settings. The heading bug, the heading change here I can change with my G1000 system, so it's quite a fascinating system. Something else I need to actually go into, a little more technical. I don't normally like talking into technical stuff because, let's face it, I ain't got a clue either. But there's a thing that you can do in Flight Simulator which is called screen pop-out. And basically you can pop out any of these screens. So for instance the GTN 750, the other part of the 750 unit, we can pop them out and put them into other devices, which is how my G1000 works. If you do that, the system, the graphics card, is rendering 2 screens from the simulator, and no matter how powerful your system is, and mine is quite beefy, you do take a frame rate hit. So normally I am running, if I don't run the auto FPS program, I would be getting somewhere between 50, 60, pushing even 70 FPS. Running the auto FPS, I'm running a nice stable 50, 60 FPS. And if I pop out a screen and use it as I would on my G1000, I get a hit of FPS, which is noticeable. It's not a game breaker, but it's something that I don't think works particularly well with the simulator. So at the moment I'm actually running little nav map in my G1000, because my G1000 is set up to be the MFD, which would be the multifunction screen. I basically use that as a moving map. Now I don't need to, because I can run little nav map in there, which is connected to the simulator. I've got a moving map screen representation, but there is no frame rate hit. So I may add a little nav map back into the video, so you guys can see everything that I see. Obviously that will be on a portion of the screen somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but it will be there. Also, I'm wondering how many other people use the Auto FPS app, because I've just updated it to version 2 of the software, and it is absolutely great. It's absolutely awesome. Like I say, I don't have many problems with the simulator. I've got an actual bespoke system which is running Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and DCS. I don't fly DCS that much, I'm perfectly honest. I'm more relaxed on playing a simulator. And that's all that system does. It was a bespoke build, and I do believe I put the specs in the video, so if you're interested in what my system is, it's actually on the video description. I may be looking into getting a 40 series Nvidia card sometime. I'm not going to say this year, but you know, my 3090 is running absolutely sound across all the devices, all the simulators that I use. So we're just coming up on Scampton, so we are going to make a pass over Scampton, loop round and go into the landing position. Typical flight simulator. I've got a block of green grass to sat in front of me there. Obviously a little bit of a hiccup with the simulator rendering the grass. I'll try and ignore that. I use AccuSeason's app to actually create the tree textures and tree colours and the ground colours and all that for the time of year. I'm not totally sold on the product, but it is, when it works well, but sometimes you end up with these blocks of textures that obviously haven't quite rendered in properly. And also, as of a few hours ago of me making this video, I've actually purchased 2 items from a real aviation company. One of them is a real world checklist, the full checklist for the DA42 Twin Star. So I did say a few videos ago I was going to create a multi-part video involving the DA42, and I'm going to go through the proper checklist procedures for starting and running the aircraft. So we're going to see just how realistic the Twin Star really is, and I think it is very realistic. Another purchase is a VFR chart book for airports. I can't remember officially what the name of it is. I've actually got this. I use this all the time. It's a list of all the airports and airfields in Great Britain, and it gives you a lot of information about that chosen airfield. Usually I forget the prefix names for the airfields, but they'll have it all set up in that chart. Now the book I've got is from 2008, I do believe. This one is 2024, so it's bang up to date. Just keeping Scampton to our 9 o'clock position. So, checks. Landing lights are on, mixture is full, flaps going down to 1 stage, gear is down, obviously, it's fixed, airspeed's good, everything else looks good. Got a nice long runway here at Scampton. So we've got a bit of a headwind, which is just what we want. And we are down at RAF Scampton. If I can remember exactly where the taxiways are for this airfield. Flaps coming back up again. landing lights coming off, pitot heaters coming off, fuel pump coming off. Pull back the mixture. So while we taxi back in to RAF Scampton, I will say, if you're interested in the PA-28 and you want to see real world PA-28 action, go onto YouTube and search out, I believe it's called The Flying Reporter. I've been watching quite a few of his videos, and he does create very, very good content around his personal own PA-28. It's absolutely fantastic. If you actually listen to that aircraft, it sounds exactly like this aircraft. So it just, again, kudos to Just Flight for creating some great sounds. But you will learn a lot about how to fly this aircraft by looking at the Flying Reporters videos. It's got loads and loads of content out there. Also caters towards, obviously, general aviation VFR flying. So just like this channel, only his is more well established, and obviously he is a real pilot, but it is very, very good content if you're after the VFR general aviation stuff. Quite a tight turn to get into this first parking section, but easy enough. Right, parking brake set. So, lights are off. If I can actually click on the point, it would be helpful. TrackIR skipping all over the place. Fuel is off. Avionics are off. Lights all off. So, there we go. Just Flight PA-28. Absolutely fantastic, an amazing aircraft. If you're into your, obviously, VFR, general aviation stuff, take a look at this aircraft. It's absolutely fantastic. It's actually retailing, normal retail price is £30.49 in the UK. At the moment, as of this video being made, it is currently on a sale for £18.29. It is a bargain. I would personally get all three of Just Flight's general aviation aircraft, because they are absolutely fantastic, and the other two aircraft, the Arrow and Turbo Arrow, are more evolved aircraft with more options, obviously like things down to like the prop pitch, for instance, folding undercarriage. You can take this aircraft on good UK tours or tours of whichever country you're in. But the Turbo Arrow especially is faster, higher flying, and is just, you know, a more better, I don't want to say better, because the pack, just buy the pack is amazing. I don't know whether you can buy the pack and get a sale on the buying all three of them, but like I said, they are retailing at the moment for a sale price. So if you've enjoyed this video, I hope you have. If you've got any questions or comments regarding the Warrior here, please bang them below in the comments, and we will be getting back to the Twin Star action very, very soon. So yes, if you like this video, I hope you have, and I will see you guys and girls in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 video very, very soon.